Hey guys, today we're taking a deep dive into the new Blackstar HT Venue Series MK3 amplifier, and we have the Blackstar matching 412 cab to go with it. Now we're about to dive into some more tones. Of course, you're going to hear more tones as we go through this. There are actually a lot of options for you here, but just a quick snapshot, okay? The HT Venue MK3, this is a 100-watt head. You have 3 independent channels, again, with multiple options that we're going to go over and we're going to hear. And this is powered by 4 EL34 tubes. Now, the cool thing about this, and we'll save this sort of for the end, is you actually don't need a cabinet. You can actually use this amp without a cabinet. Again, we'll cover that towards the end. We'll start here with the front of the amplifier so you can see the power and the standby. It is right here on the front. Now, me personally, I prefer that because it's just easy access. Now, what's cool is you'll see this power here. You can shift from 100 watts all the way down to 10 watts. So if you're in a small bedroom, kind of like I am here, then you can dial that down to 10 watts. Of course, you can crank it up to 100 on the stage. Now, you do have the master volume, presence, and resonance, and this amp also comes with reverb. There's also an option for what's called light and dark reverb. That's on the back of the amp, which we'll get to later. You also have 3 independent channels. So you've got a clean channel here. Now you've got your bass and treble for the clean. You also have this voice switch here, and this just gives you another tone option for the clean channel, which you're going to hear in a second. You also have 2 overdrive channels. Now each one has their independent volume. You can see your gain setting there, and you also have that voice switch option on both of these channels. Now both overdrives do share the EQ. You've got your treble, mid, and bass, and then Blackstar gives you this ISF setting here, which, you know, if you turn that more towards the right, you get more of that British sound. Go more towards the left, you get more of that American tone. I'm also going to take you through the back of the amplifier. You've got some more options back there and some really cool stuff that you can do back there. But first, I think it's time to hear some tones. So I'm going to run through each of the channels, the clean channel and the 2 overdrives, and we'll check out the voice settings as well. Let's start with the clean. Now let's check out the overdrives on this amplifier. So I'm going to start with OD1, and what I'll do is I'll back the gain off to start out with, then you'll see me increase the gain, and of course we'll turn that little voice switch on. Now let's do the same thing for OD2. One more thing I want you to hear. I'm going to mess around with this ISF setting while I'm playing here and just let you hear the different sounds you can get with that. By the way, everything we just did, everything you just heard was recorded through the Blackstar 412 matching cabinet here, and I've just got it mic'd up with a Shure SM57 mic. I'm running this through, just so you have the details here, I'm running this through PreSonus Studio One. The interface I'm using is the Quantum 2 by PreSonus. So that's what you're hearing. Also, I'm not using any plugins whatsoever in the studio. What you're hearing is the raw tone of this amplifier. One more tone before we look at the back of the amp. I just want to play some solos for you here so you can hear what the lead sounds like with this amplifier. So I'm just going to add a little bit of delay to the track in the studio here, and well, here it is. Now let's take a look at the back of the HT Venue MK3 amplifier. So first thing you'll notice is the USB audio. So you can connect your amp head directly to your computer and use the amp as an interface. Remember earlier when I told you you don't necessarily need a cabinet for this amplifier. So yes, you can use it as an interface, and you would use what's called their Blackstar Architect software, which includes their cab rig, and that's their IRs. We'll talk more about that in a second. You also have the foot switch. You've got a 2-way and a 5-way foot switch here. We also have an effects loop. Now what's interesting here is you actually have a level for the effects loop. You've got two different options here. And remember earlier we mentioned the reverb had a dark and light setting, so you've got that setting on the back of the amplifier here. Now let's move over to the cab rig output. So this will allow you to connect your amplifier directly to a soundboard or an interface if you want to go that route. And you see you've got the 1, 2, 3 switch here. This is where you can choose between 3 different IRs, which we're about to dive into the software, and I'll show you how to do that, and we'll hear some tones. Lastly, you've got multiple speaker outputs here, so you could use this amp head with a variety of different cabinets. It's time to hear some more metal tones out of this amp amp here, the HT Venue MK3. So this time we are going to listen to the tones with the cab rig software. We're just going to use the head here. We're not using the 412 cab, which I hope you guys liked it as much as I did, but I think you're going to be quite impressed with the cab rig software. So remember, on the back of the amp, we just went over this, you've got 3 settings. Now these are the settings that the Blackstar HT Venue MK3 come with. We're going to hear what those sound like. Of course, I'm going to show you just a glimpse, a screenshot here of the software itself after you hear these tones. But let's run through these 3 settings real quick. All I did here was I had a cable running from the line out on the back of the amplifier here and running that into my audio interface so that I could record the tones for you guys. Now you could also use that same strategy and just run the line out directly into a soundboard, and of course you can use the cab 3 option back there to get those different tones. Now if you wanted to change the combinations of speakers and mics and cabinets, and of course there are some other options in the software I'm about to tell you about that Blackstar gives you access to with these products. It's called their Blackstar Architect cab rig software. So you would plug in the USB cable into the back of the amplifier like you see here, and of course that would connect to your computer, and this would allow you to bring up the software and you can go through several combinations of speakers and mics, the different mics that they give you. You've got an EQ you can use. There are EQ presets for each mic. On axis, off axis, there's types of room, small, medium, large, and so forth. So you've got a lot of stuff to play around here with to get different tones. And you can create as many cab mic combinations as you want to and save them. And you can take your favorite 3 and assign those 3 to your MK3 amplifier. And I believe this works the same for all of the Blackstar MK3 amplifiers. Now, real quick, I want to give a huge shout out to Blackstar and everybody that I've worked with at Blackstar to make this happen, guys. I'm really grateful for this. So this video is sponsored by Blackstar. Again, I can't be more grateful and more happy to have this thing sitting in my studio. We've got a lot of work to do, a lot of music to write and record with this amplifier, and I plan to use both the mic'd cab and of course the cab rig software for just some different combinations of tones and just different ways of recording. So a lot more coming up with this amplifier here. So again, huge shout out to Blackstar, and thank you so much to everyone I've been working with on this project here. Now, one thing I didn't quite talk about yet was the Blackstar cab. So this is the Blackstar HTV 412A extension cab. Now I have the slanted cab. It is equipped with 4 12-inch speakers, and these are the Celestion 7080 speakers. And as you heard earlier, the tones from this thing are pretty brutal. I've actually got another video where I recorded an entire metal instrumental song with this cab, with this amp and cab, and the entire song was the cabinet mic'd up with a Shure SM57. So hey, go check that out if you haven't seen that yet. I'll also leave a link to that video in the description of this video. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of the HT Venue MK3, and if you have any questions about this amplifier, please drop those in the comments. In fact, if you own a Blackstar amplifier or Blackstar pedal or any of their products, I'd love to know that in the comments and let me know what you think of that as well. Guys, if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've got some more Blackstar content coming out for you. There are a lot more videos that I'm dying to make with this thing. One's going to be with a 7-string, so that's coming up soon. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, as always, keep it metal.